Thank you, Shabil. So members, why we are here is really to hear from you. I think at an opportune later time, our executive coordinator, Professor Shabil, will be presenting the document which we put together as a draft strategic plan for your input to try and help us launch and start looking into the future on how to really put primary health care, particularly for the African continent, to another level from where we are. So, and I think without wasting a lot of time, we have a three major item agenda, which we really think we should be able to complete in the 2 hours that we have. So members, allow me to welcome you once again to this meeting, and I think it would be prudent to know who is in the house. And I think time is not our ally, but I think it would be the other members for each one of us take a minute and tell us who he or she is and from which organization, but also just in one sentence to really let us know your thoughts and feelings on how you would like AfroPHC to look like. So thank you very much. And I think I will start with Shabil, who is our executive coordinator, and then we shall be moving around the screen or around the room. Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much, and apologies. I think my name is Shabil Musa. I'm a family physician in Soweto, Johannesburg, linked to the University of Witwatersrand. Also the outgoing president of Wonga Africa. I am the executive coordinator of the African Forum for Primary Health Care, and I think perhaps I'm living in Johannesburg with the wife and a child, and I think the key thing that I think about AfroPHC is the excitement of bringing together particularly the frontline healthcare worker team, and I think like I practice in the place I am, which is Shiwelo, I'm as a practitioner having, as a doctor, we have, besides young doctor, a clinical associate, nurses, and community health workers. And as a small team, we look after a defined community. And to me, that's the kind of spirit of empowering the team and building good healthcare for communities is what I'd like to see in AfroPHC. So that's just my little bit and a bit about myself. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shabil, our executive coordinator. Francoise? Francoise, are you there?
Sorry, I need to allow people to unmute themselves. Give me a second. I stop people from doing that. Yeah, so you could unmute yourself now, and you can also rename yourself.
So Francoise, can you unmute yourself?
You should do that now. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, it works now. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nenjo Francoise Futi Mwabufo. I am a public health midwife from Cameroon. I work in the rural community with Family Health and Development Foundation and a lecturer in the universities here in Cameroon in the health department. I'm also the Deputy Vice President of African Forum on Primary Health Care. You are all welcome to this meeting today. And I'm really passionate about primary health care, especially in the rural community where it's really not functioning well. I'm really passionate about redynamizing, especially working with the frontline health workers to bring, to restructure primary health care in this area of settings. Thank you.
Thank you, Francoise. Bongi, I think Bongi, you can unmute yourself.
Good day, everyone. I'm Bongi Svanda, and I am from Zimbabwe, currently based in the UK. I still work between the two countries remotely, though, for the past 20 months. So I led the Anglophone Africa APN Coalition, which many of you will be aware of, where we developed a proposal that was submitted to WHO Afro. Initially, our aim really was to ensure that we help countries to strengthen health systems through primary health care and introducing family nurse practitioners as priority. And within those conversations, we managed to meet with Prof. Shabia, and really I am more interested in how we actually combine the workforce, as Prof. Shabia said, the workforce, strengthening the workforce within primary health care and helping countries do that in an evidence-based way and supporting education across countries. So I was a member of the executive board until last month. I stepped down due to conflict of interest with the role that I have, but also I think this will also allow me to be able to help countries implement what needs to be done. And we have a few projects coming up that are in the pipeline across a number of countries. So thank you. I look forward to working with everyone now from a member and a stakeholder perspective.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bongi, and you are welcome to the meeting. Joseph, Anna. Joseph, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. My name is Joseph Anna, and I lead the Africa Center for Clinical Governance, Research and Patient Safety based in Calabar, Nigeria. We have special interest in whole health system strengthening, and my interest in AfroPHC is to see how we can, working together, strengthen not just the whole health system, but particularly the primary health care tier, because we believe strongly that that is where the anchor for any health system should be. That at the moment it's missing in Nigeria, and I suspect in most other African countries. So we're hoping that with a strong AfroPHC, we should be able to achieve that in Nigeria and across Africa. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joseph, and you are welcome as usual. Tolu, can you unmute yourself, please, and make a brief introduction of yourself?
Thank you very much, dear colleagues, and good day to you all. My name is Tolu Oshigbeson. I'm a pharmacist by training, and I currently work with the NCD Alliance, that's Non-Communicable Disease Alliance in Geneva, Switzerland, on policy and advocacy. In my work for the NCD Alliance, I engage with the WHO, with UN agencies, and with member states to discuss opportunities to better protect populations from the scourge of non-communicable conditions. And you will agree with me that at the heart of these discussions is the importance of a strong, resilient health system and a workforce that is supported to deliver their best, as they continue to protect us from diseases. So I feel really privileged to be part of this discussion today and to be part of the AfroPHC board. I believe that we can all contribute in unique ways, and I look forward to supporting all the good work that is going on through my expertise in advocacy with member states and my close monitoring of WHO processes. So I hope to bring all that to bear in my work with us here in AfroPHC. And I look forward to collaborating with us all to move this agenda forward. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tolu. And we are always happy to have you, and for always linking us to WHO. Now we can have Vivian, and Vivian, in a special way, we want to welcome you to this meeting. And we know you are really very, you are active in the Wonka world. And as I said, we are always happy to work with the Wonka. And I think Vivian is contesting to be the president-elect for Wonka. Vivian, we are so happy to have you. today attend this meeting. So briefly introduce yourself, and please, in one sentence, you let us know how you feel AfroPHC, how AfroPHC should really be looking like in order to promote and improve primary health care in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Innocent. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm Viviana Martinez Bianchi. I am Argentinian. I'm South American, but I have lived in the United States for 30 years as a family doctor. I'm a trained family doctor and director for health equity in the Department of Family Medicine and Community Health at Duke University in North Carolina in the US. I thank you all for inviting me to be part of this executive board. I have been for the last 5 years member of the executive of the WONGA, of the World Organization of Family Doctors, and a liaison to the World Health Organization, and attend the executive boards and the World Health Assembly. I think to me it's extremely important. I've been seeing a lot of the ramifications from the Astana Declaration. Countries have signed on to a declaration of Astana that calls for primary health care for all. For me, in my role as Director for Health Equity, where I work, and in my connection with the rest of the world, that calls for equity and justice in health, but I am not seeing the strong support that needs to come to primary health care. This is why I was so excited when I started hearing about what was being formed in Africa with the AfroPHC to really try to coordinate a horizontal program instead of all these vertical programs that I keep seeing existing, coming from funders, from UNICEF, from WHO. We can't continue to only treat TB. We cannot continue to only fund very well, huge packages for HIV. They all need to be funded, but in a horizontal approach that enhances access to primary health care. And at the same time, I think it's so important to think about, to see what our countries are making promises at WHO, at the World Health Assembly, and at the United Nations. And as members of civil society, we need to look at what is it that our countries are committing to, and then seeing it that it is actually happening on the ground. So I think the work you're doing, coordinating efforts from a multi-system of different disciplines, is the most important way to really, putting all of us together to say, where is the funding? How are we doing this? This is the only way to strengthen primary health care and access to health care for all people.
Thank you, Vivian, and we are honestly honored to really have you, and we are sure AfroPHC will greatly benefit from your experience and your connections.
Thank you.
Kawal Sehim, I don't know that I'm pronouncing your name well. You can unmute yourself and make a brief introduction.
Hi everybody. I'm speaking with 3 hats. Normally everybody speaks with 2. The first hat is from the International Alliance of Patients Organizations. I'm a CEO there, and I'm glad to see Wonka there, especially Vivian. We have been in close cooperation with them as an organization in official relationship with WHO. We've been very active at the World Health Assembly and even at the WHO Africa, and even WHO AMRO, where we need to find a way of working, because it's that dual relationship of North and South Africa is critical. But more importantly, I come as the current, holding the current secretariat for the African Medicines Agency Treaty Alliance. And congratulations, everybody. The treaty comes into force this morning. We have a new Pan-African institution. It's our institution, so I insist you guys voting it. And it fulfills President Kwame Nkrumah's great dream, of having Pan-African people-owned institutions. So this gives us a room to work with it and shape how African medicines regulation works and how equity and safety and quality is maintained. And lastly, I think my other hat is that I'm deeply ingrained in Kenya. I was born and brought up there, family there. Played hockey for the first 11s there, and deeply connected. As I said, my roots are deeply there, even though I'm here in London so far. So with those three hats, I welcome everybody, and it'll be a great pleasure working with you. And I thank everybody for allowing patients that opportunity to participate. I think that's something very rare. So you need to be congratulated on that. That very often we are an afterthought. You know, in previous cases, after an organization has been running for 3-4 years, then they invite us. You have done at the very outset. You have asked us to set the table out for you. It was very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we are sure that we shall benefit a lot from all of the hats that you are wearing in terms of really promoting primary health care for the African continent. Madeleine Ballard, if you can unmute yourself and make a brief introduction.
Hi everyone, great to be with you today. My name is Madeleine Ballard. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Health Impact Coalition, which is effectively a team of practitioners in about 40 countries working towards the professionalization of community health workers. In other words, making sure they're paid, supplied adequately, supervised, and have opportunities for ongoing medical training like every other medical cadre. So very excited to be with you all today to continue to advance, not just community health, but primary health care as a whole.
Yeah, thank you very much, and you are welcome. Hannah Falal, if you can, you're already unmuted, so if you can make a brief introduction of who you are.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Falal, and it's a real honor to be in this group. I come from an eye health background, and my career was setting up comprehensive programs for eye health from community through to tertiary level. So it's really been something I have hungered for, the integration of eye health into health. And in July this year, the UN passed a resolution on vision for everyone. And we cannot do that without achieving integration and acceptance for the person, because we're moving into people-centeredness. So it's going to be an exciting time for me to see how that will happen within primary healthcare in all our countries. So we move from what somebody was saying, having vertical programs, into programs for the person rather than for the disease or the part of the body. My own personal interest is in that integration from the specialist point of view, but also an acceptance by the other groups as well. It stops being seen as a specialty. My other main interest is that in primary healthcare, we move beyond the front health facility and go right down to the home and whoever is working there, and empower the people and the populations and the informal care providers to take ownership of health, that we see them as important as the health providers themselves, because they are the first port of call. So it's really exciting for me to be with this group. And I hope as I seek to be part of it, you will also seek to be part of eye health. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hannah. And really, as people are interested in the primary health care, we are everything, and we are always happy to be with everyone, everywhere. I think now we can have Prof. Ian Cooper. Professor Ian Cooper has experience in rural health practice, but also in the training in the rural health workforce, which is really quite important for primary health care. So Prof. Ian, if you can make a brief introduction of yourself.
Thanks, Innocent, and good afternoon, everyone. I do want to apologize for not putting on my video. We've got electricity load shedding at the moment, so I'm running on mobile data, and I was out this morning, so my computer might die on me shortly. So if I leave suddenly, that's the reason. So I'm Ian Cooper. I'm the director of the Kwanda Center for Rural Health at Stellenbosch University and within the Department of Global Health, Stellenbosch. And I'm also past chair of the Wonka Working Party and Rural Practice and still part of the executive of the Working Party. For me, the importance of AfroPHC is around bringing us together and connecting us, because too often we work in multiple parallel streams, and although as family physicians and involved in primary care we speak integration, too often we actually continue to function and operate in vertical silos, and I hope that we can break those down and work collaboratively. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian, and we are always happy to really tap into your vast experience, mainly in rural health. And we know that the challenging part of PHC is really providing services to the rural populations. We can now go to Deborah Gray, if you can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi, everyone. First, I just wanted to say thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very honored to be here. I am advanced practice nurse, family nurse practitioner by trade, providing primary care for about 32 years now. My day job, my current day job, I oversee master science and doctoral nurse practitioner programs, neonatal, family nurse practitioner, pediatric, mental health, anesthesia, and midwifery. And I wear multiple hats. I'm also a professor at the University of Botswana. I teach in the family nurse practitioner program. I'm a US Fulbright scholar for sub-Saharan Africa and spent quite a bit of time in Botswana and Ghana. My other hat is I am the International Council of Nurses representative, and specifically the International Council of Nurses Advanced Practice Nurse Practitioner Network, which is has about 3,000 members in 92 countries, advanced practice nurses around the world. And I'm also the deputy director of the ICN Advanced Practice Global Academy for Research and Enterprise. And we're currently working on a project with our partners in Africa right now with WHO and the larger International Council of Nurses and several other groups. And the project is to implement the advanced practice role in countries across Africa. And we're currently in the planning stage of that. And I'm looking forward to involving this group in that process. In terms of what I see for AfroPHC, I think it's already started to serve as a wonderful information sharing and networking opportunity and a collaboration opportunity for all the various groups to really improve healthcare and rural healthcare in Africa. And I think that's very important. And I think it's a very important step. And I'm very excited and honored to be a part of this project or everything. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we are really honored to have you be part of this group. We go to Chantel Allen, if you can unmute yourself.
Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Chantal Allen. I'm a senior technical advisor at Chipago, an affiliate of Johns Hopkins University. And I am the advisor that's responsible for primary care in our organization. And I'm here with my colleague, Sibusiso, who is in the South Africa office. I'm a UCT grad, a nurse and midwife by profession. And in the organization, the reason why we're so excited to be part of this group is that we obviously have projects around the continent and in a number of different countries. And I really like what Deborah said around this is a space that provides us as professionals and individuals and organizations opportunities to share, to learn, to create synergies that we might not even be aware of. And to think holistically, we each bring to this table our professional skills and passions, our organizational capacities. And there's lots of exciting magic that can happen. So I'm really excited to be part of this process. And also, Innocent, for yourself, I'm taking over from my colleague Rada Karnad, who has been in touch with you and is part of the advisory board. So I'm here in that capacity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chantel, and we are really happy to have you. Fidoza Wagi, if you can unmute yourself and you introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you find yourself in the world. My name is Fidoza Wagi. I'm the Vice Chairperson of the African Interprofessional Network, AfroPHC. I'm also speaking with two hats, or occupy three positions. I'm also the Deputy Dean for Clinical and Community Engagement in the Faculty of Community and Health Sciences at the University of the Western Cape. And then I'm also the head of the Interprofessional Education Unit at that university. So it's important for us to be part of AfroPHC, that is, to be part of this organization, and for us to have representation on this organization, because we feel that that interprofessional collaborative practice goes hand in hand with primary healthcare services, and therefore it is important for us to have the link. Also, a big part of my role as a Deputy Dean of Clinical and Community Engagement is to ensure that we integrate primary healthcare into, or the content of primary healthcare into health professions education. So we need to ensure that our graduates or our undergrad students are prepared to be a primary healthcare practitioners, and that is part of my role, to ensure that that is integrated into curriculum. And then, of course, being involved with community engagement at my university, it's important that we do advocate for accessibility to health and to health services. So I think, so I'm very honored, and it's a privilege for me to serve on this forum. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fidoza, and Dede, we are honored to have you, and we are sure we shall really benefit a lot from your vast experience. Scott Murray, if you can unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Smalley, and I'm speaking to you from Johannesburg, South Africa, at the University of Witwatersrand. I'm the head of the Division of Clinical Associates here within our Department of Family Medicine and Primary Care, and also serving as the current president for the International Academy of Physician Associate Educators. So also a group of educators around the world working to educate for the physician assistant, the physician associate, the clinical associate, the clinical officer, the medical assistant, the health officer, all of these different names of the cadre that are very much at the front line and providing primary health care in many countries, of course, around the world, more than about 55 countries. This profession is located. And I'm very excited to be part of this group, and also with some similar cadres. Of course, the nurse practitioners very similar, and the healthcare workers on the front line. And I think the clinical associates, our physician assistants, associates have quite a bit to offer in this area. I'm colleagues with Prof. Shabir, and he's hired one of my student clinical associates at his clinic working and knows the benefit of that. And I know others around here as well. I was first hired by Prof. Cooper. So really pleased that there's quite a bit of a family connection, for all of us in this process as we grow together and share and develop the education training for primary healthcare workers, and then improve the general practice. So I look forward to collaborating and providing what experience we can from South Africa and clinical associates. Originally, I'm from the United States, trained as a physician assistant there, and have done some work in Kenya and Tanzania and Uganda, and then now here in South Africa. I'm so excited to have you all. Okay, great. Oh yes, and Shabir and Ian were actually both at my interview when I was hired. That was 12 years ago. That's right, Shabir. Thanks for that comment. Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Scott. And we are really honored to have you. And the family is growing bigger, and I'm sure we really need everyone in order to really develop and promote primary health care. So we can now have Ahmed Salan, if you can unmute yourself for self-introduction.
Yes, thank you so much, dear Innocent, for for giving me the chance to speak. But before I introduce myself, I just want to say something I would say, like, I'm so proud to be a nurse. My name is Ahmed Salam. I'm from Egypt, and I'm representing ANSI, the African Novice Nurse and Student Initiative, and the previous membership director of GASN, the Global Association of Student and Novice Nurses. And I'm looking forward to make the young nurses' voices heard in African region and globally. Educationally, I'm a master student in specialty of nursing education, and I'm very interested in IPE, the interprofessional education, to reach the interprofessional practice as a MDT. And my views to AfroPHC to work really as a team, not only like a word, but like the abbreviation of together, each one achieve more, like MDT team, multidisciplinary team in this advisory group, to really not only to make Africa and the global healthier, but for doing something great in terms of young advocacy, is to inspire and build new generation to take the lead now, not only in the future. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hamd. And I think this is the best platform to be for your aspirations. And I think together we shall work towards making sure that the dream is realized. So we can now have Kapil Nalin, if you can unmute and introduce yourself.
Hello, can everyone hear me? So I'm Kapil. Thank you so much. Greetings, colleagues. So I'm Kapil Narayan. I'm a junior medical doctor in Durban, South Africa. Really passionate about primary healthcare and really excited to be in this virtual meeting with like-minded colleagues who are super passionate about bringing together and generating these ideas to really put primary healthcare at the forefront. In particular, I'm interested in UHC. I'm universal health coverage. Really passionate about mental health care, gender-based violence, and also youth empowerment. So I look forward to listening to the ideas, generating and partaking in these discussions so that we can put primary healthcare in Africa at the forefront. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kapil. And of course, there is really no universal health coverage without the PHC. So I think I think we're in the same. We are moving in the same direction. We can now have Emily Bigillo, and I think is from PHC PI, which is the Primary Care Performance Initiative, an initiative that is trying to promote primary health care performance. And I think that has been one of the biggest weaknesses and the weakest point for PHC. So we are happy to have you, Emily, if you can unmute and introduce yourself.
Thanks so much. Really great to be here. My name is Emily Bigelow, and I lead advocacy and partnerships for the Primary Healthcare Performance Initiative. And sometimes you'll see my colleague Jeff Markins in this meeting going forward as well. I think our main interest in this world is, as you just said, sort of helping, whether it's leaders, health workers, ordinary citizens, kind of understand and pinpoint those strengths and weaknesses in the primary healthcare system so that they can take action, make sure they're using their limited resources well. But I think with AfroPHC, one major opportunity we see is something that others have already mentioned, so I'll just echo it, that uniting the voices and supporting the voices of the health workforce across so many different groups presents such an opportunity to generate insight into why this matters, why we need a people-centered, equitable primary healthcare system, and generate demand for that at all levels of society, from the community up to the highest levels of government. So I think this is a really fantastic group. Have been thrilled to hear what all of you are up to and excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Emily, and you are welcome. And we are always with Jeff, but we are aware that you are always together. So thank you so much. And really, we always value the input from the PHCPI. We can have Oldali Bodun, if you can unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. My name is Dare Bodurin. and I work with SPARC, Strategic Purchasing Africa Resource Center, as program manager. SPARC is a resource center based in Nairobi within AmRef Health Africa, really positioned to provide resources, technical and knowledge resources to policymakers to make, to implement strategic purchasing reforms. And of course, strategic purchasing looks at efficiency and equity in using health spending to ensure to achieve UHC. And in doing that, of course, we understand that primary healthcare is at the bedrock of that conversation. So we look forward to opportunities to contribute to the conversations here, particularly from a policymaking and health financing for primary healthcare perspective. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Olda, and we are always happy to really have you and get your input. And we pledge that we are going to really work with you all of the time. We are almost getting to the end. We can have Peter Van Den, if you can unmute for the brief introduction.
Yes, Peter van Hamburg from Holland. I'm connected together with Jan de Masseneer and Per Carlsen from Denmark in the North-South axis, and I represent the Dutch working group of general practitioners who are interested in global health. And we are very keen to, especially to be connected to trainees and family medicine training departments to, if there are possibilities to, that Dutch GPs in training GPs, trainees, and also GPs can share in the experience of how to operate in community-oriented primary care in Africa. That would be marvelous. So that's where we are presently working on, and besides things like travel advice, etc. Thank you very much. That was the introduction.
Thank you very much, Peter. And I think we shall also benefit so much from your experience. I think one of the benchmarks we are using in the European Forum for Primary Care, so we are sure that we shall benefit much from your involvement in this. Cynthia, if you can unmute. Cynthia Noborero, if you can unmute for a short introduction.
Hello, everybody. Greetings to you all. I'm Cynthia from Zimbabwe. I work for the National University of Science and Technology. I'm a midwife. A very, very, very big passion for women, training, particularly adolescents. I'm also an executive board member of the AfroPHC forum in this platform. I'm really happy to be in this platform because I realize that primary health care is the pillar of the healthcare delivery system, and it is important that we integrate and share ideas and be able to identify gaps that we can bridge, as we all know that the majority of the populations that
So I think Cynthia, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. Almost good. Back now. I was almost concluding that I think my presence in this forum is really is a blessing. I'm hoping that the information that is sharing in my career.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cynthia. Penina, I think Penina is only it's one name, but Penina, if you can unmute yourself for a short introduction.
Hi everyone, my name is Penina Hisa from Kenya. I'm the regional coordinator for PHM East and Southern Africa. So I'm here to represent PHM, which is a global network bringing together grassroots health activists, civil society organizations, and particularly from low and middle income. So as PHM, we are committed to comprehensive primary health care and addressing social determinants of health. So I'm glad to be here because I'm able to learn much more on how we can strengthen PHC, which is a foundation for UHC. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Penina, and we're happy to have you. Can we have Sibusiso? I see it is not labeled Sibusiso's iPhone, but I think the person should be Sibusiso. So if you can unmute yourself for an introduction.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, it's me, Sibusiso Simelane. Good day, colleagues. I'm really honored to be part of this great team, more especially to see that it's composed of most of the people with experience. Definitely, I will learn, personally. So I am the field director or the technical director of Chipago, South Africa. Currently, we are running a huge VMMC program here in South Africa under PECFA. I'm based in Durban. I'm a nurse by profession, have experience in various clinical settings and community health facilities. But I then joined the NGO world, mainly working under PECFA. So basically to strengthen, the public health facilities and to ensure that, part of it actually is the whole concept of PHC. And I'm happy to be part of this. My main concern, which I think is really applicable, and it's my vision as I'm joining this team here, AfroPHC, is really the fact that there is a slight, deviation from PHC, especially with the health professions. I know that the whole focus most of the time is being on the advanced, level of treatment, which is not a problem as it is, but just to make sure that we come back to basics. So that will be my vision as I'm participating in the group, to say, let's look at the entire health force and re-engineer, everyone through education, through engagement, to really come back to the basics, which is PHC. Not really saying that the advance, or the specialty and all the like, it's not important. But I think if we can really grab that concept of PHC, that would be the good direction to go, especially here in Southern Africa, in SADC region. Yeah, I think that's it. Otherwise, I'm really excited, colleagues. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction and the insights. I think last but not least in the room, we shall have Selva Mudle for the brief self-introduction.
Thanks, Chairperson. Thank you very much. Just to say that we represent an organization called the International Federation of Environmental Health, where we have 46 countries in the organization, and I was the past president of the organization. I'm now the chair of the regional group in Africa, and we at the moment have 18 countries in Africa as part of this group, and our numbers are growing. Our sole purpose of joining this group is, whether you're in South Africa, whether you're in Tanzania, whether you're in the US, or whether you're in the English countries, the misunderstanding of what environmental health is all about is very, very bad. So what we are doing, we are advocating throughout the world about environmental health, which is preventative health care. And that's the backbone of primary health care. So that is why we exist as an organization, and we run projects also, because we're an NPO in terms of water and sanitation and new ways of actually treating water, waste management, and those kind of issues. So we run projects voluntarily in terms of that. We are an NPO, we a non-profit organization that works throughout Africa and other parts of the world in terms of the IFEH. Currently, we at the moment at the Climate Change Conference, because we feel that is a very, very essential part of primary health care that is being neglected in many countries. And we need, because we keep saying, this is what's happening, the third world countries are creating the problems, but what action are we taking as countries in Africa? So we are lobbying among the many countries that we are involved in to make sure that we can set the platform in terms of challenging so-called experts from the first world countries who continue to pollute and affects the African population. We've been very successful. Currently, our people at the COP26 is there, and they are making representation on our behalf. But I want to make sure that when my participation in the organization will bring environmental health understanding and people who understand what our preventative healthcare is all about in primary healthcare. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much, Salva. And I think you are right. Commonly, people don't think about the environment and how it affects the health and the healthcare in very many ways. So, and I think it's important to always have that voice on the table. I think all of us in the room have at least said who we are and what we think, but just take note that Prof. Shabil has put a list of people who are absent with apology. We are a slightly much bigger group than what you see on your screens. But we, of course, it's not possible to have everyone all the time. So we also take note of all of those colleagues who would have wished to be here, but for one reason or the other, they were not able, so they are absent with apology. As you notice, we really want to apologize for spending a lot of time, but we thought it befitting and necessary to have the self-introductions, given that this is our first meeting and we are still in the formation stage of our team. So at least we know who is who, and hopefully as we have our subsequent meetings, we shall come to know each other better. And I think it is also each and everyone's hope that one day, one time, we shall also be able to meet face to face and have the physical part of humanity in our meetings. Really, that would have been our desire, but given the prevailing global circumstances, it was not possible. But we are still hopeful. So we are really almost, we are still on our item 2, and I will request Professor Shabil to take us through the other components. As I said in my introductory remarks, we really wish to really have your great input into our document, which is acting as the strategic plan, so that we are all inclusive in our actions and decisions. So Prof. Shabil, we have just slightly over an hour, or almost an hour, to conclude our business. And I promise we should really fit our business within that hour. So Shabil, if you can take us through the draft strategic plan for the advisory board members to have a feel of what we are thinking and give us guidance on how to move it forward. Prof. Shabil, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Innocent. And I think it's really a rich meeting, and I really appreciate all of you taking off time to come here. And we're going to keep this rather short. So we sent you documents in advance. I'm going to just work through a report that gives you a feel for what has happened with AfroPHC over the last couple of months. And then we'll go to the strategic document and just get your comments. And I think it probably is one item anyway. So let me just go through it very quickly, some background that in fact, the idea of Wonka of AfroPHC came up at about 2 years ago in Kampala at a conference that was hosted by Innocent himself. And Yanda Masana from the European Forum suggested, why not look at an African Forum equivalent in a workshop we had with WHO representative Prosper Tumisime. And so I went to the AfriPen workshop, which was just a month or two later, and met a bundle of people who I thought really helped this process along. You can see mentions like Bongi Sibanda, Champion Inyoni, and Prosper himself once more at this meeting. And essentially, we had a huge benefit of the network that was already there in AfriPen to build up a document as a proposal in response to the UHC declaration in September of 2019. And we had a wide range of organizations supporting it, which I think you're all familiar with, and we've tried to grow that organizational support. I think these are on the website, so I'm not going to really spend very much time on it. Just to say, it was about bringing frontline healthcare workers, and I think we've gone beyond that to sort of build a primary healthcare approach where we really commit to UHC as a principle of equity, and that we want to bring all this leadership together and see how we can not only build up a voice together, but also share and support each other in advocating for each of our disciplines, as well as the overall functioning of primary healthcare in Africa. We've launched in literally a couple of months ago on the 20th of April. At that time, there were 437 members, and they voted in a 9-person executive board with two co-options thereafter. And you can see the board members are Abdullah Al-Mughira, Godwin Aja, Joseph Anna, who's here, Ines Mbesiji, who's here, Sinith and Cynthia Chipago, who's here, Radha Kadnad apologized, myself, and then Francoise Nwabufo and Bongi Sibanda. I basically resigned to then occupy an executive coordinator position, and then we had 3 other board members. They basically are Marie Claire who's Wangari, who's apologized for today, Tolu, who's introduced herself, and I'm just trying to think of the one other person that we have on the board, but there was a third person. Then the workshops we've had that I pointed out, we started up in 2020. That was a launch workshop, which was really getting to us together and getting, I think it was a very useful 3 days, and we emerged with an AfroPHC statement. And I think the key thing in it was that we need all people to be involved, many people to be involved in primary care, in the primary healthcare team, and that we have certain principles, and I think those are very much the common kind of principles that we all share. We then took it to a UHC Day workshop in December, and I think we were very pleased to have high-level speakers from WHO reflecting on workforce issues, which we think is a key problem and that we needed to deal with. And I think we've even helped the APN at that point in November. I think we currently have 31 supporting organizations, and these are different elements on the report on the stakeholder engagement being first. So we've got 31 supporting organizations, and I think that's quite pleasing. We've set up this advisory board, and we're meeting now. We've had an MOU with the pharmaceutical students. We've joined HIFA, the Health Information Group. We've had engagements on the WHO civil society discussions. We've also applied for WHO NSS status. We're considering a partnership with EOSIS on the African Journal for Primary Healthcare and Family Medicine and Journal in CPD. We've also had engagements with the F1000 online journal. And we're looking at supporting youth organizations. We've been doing that. And in fact, there's Youth Hub, which has got some really good achievements within the last 3 months. So we've had these policy workshops, and I think very importantly, they take us through quite important issues about PHC, human resource issues, academic development, supporting community health workers and the idea of health promotion, PHC teamwork and PHC funding, complexities, quality safety issues, rural health, and we're having the last one in 2 weeks' time on digital health. All these are very important to the conversation broadly. Of course, there are many other issues I think that we do need to touch on, and you can see we're looking at them and perhaps some of the issues we need to raise about what kinds of things should we be having this. And I think what's notable about this workshop is that it's an hour of presentations and question and answer, but we have a good solid hour of group work, and I think people feel a really strong sense of participation and ownership and engagement. And I think that has been the important thing, that we all get to understand and speak how we feel and understand each other better. And I think that community is slowly growing quite well. So we've got almost 600 members already. So in fact, gone beyond about 800 members. So there's also training that we've been busy with, and we've had a partnership with AMREF, I see George Kimati came on and then fell off, but AMREF has been very helpful in their support. We've had a lot of people engage with it, but progress has been poor, and we're busy looking at a workshop or a process to try and take that forward and support it. There's also a clinical CPD program that's running, which is for the last 2-3 months, and that is slowly getting feet across Africa. And we're going to look at WCEA, the World Continuing Education Alliance, who are Craig has also apologized not being here, but we're looking at using that to take the weekly CPD into their portal. They have an access to about 400,000 healthcare workers across Africa, and they have meetings or webinars of about 1,000 people. So I think it takes the value gained in people presenting in the small CPD meeting far wider. So I think that's something we want to make sure it gets speakers from across Africa. At the moment, it's mostly in Johannesburg. And then, of course, we're looking at just building up material that we could share free to sort of suit a 2-year online diploma in family medicine as a very basic support to all the different cadres teaching across Africa, and we sort of working with that. I think the training in the long term based on that 2-year diploma is to sort of build it around the quadruple burden of disease, have it sort of an online, easy to manage, much as the diploma in South Africa functions, and that we can look at that to be scaled up in Africa and support clinicians, doctors, nurses, and clinical officers, associates across Africa to get skills in family medicine and primary health care, especially post-qualification. I think research is also something we're looking at doing. We started off an AfroPHC research systems research group, and there were quite a lot of people interested. We've looked at how to build that up, initially sharing some key documents, and then looking at sort of sharing research and research work in progress and mentoring. There's a presentation of a PhD candidate and some other presentations that will happen. Importantly, we're looking at networking and developing this as a base for collaborative research projects. And I think that's slowly gathering some steam as people are getting to know each other and their own research agendas better. So this functions once a month, and it is working mostly. I think it needs sort of, just to be consistent. I think the other exciting thing is that we've become a partner in a bid for the African Population Consortium, Cohort Consortium bid, which is one, it will help us to build up a population element to the research mix. I think we are looking at a sort of practice research and other research collaborative, but I think this enables us to explore even a population platform as well. So I think there's some exciting times. And just to mention that there may be some funds if that bid is successful. And there's an interview on the 22nd of November between the two offerings, one an African one, which is what we're part of, and the other one a non-African one. It's a welcome bid and quite a substantial general amount, but it will allow us to have at least $7,000 to $8,000 for 18 months in that as partner in the bid. So communication, we've been using Google Group. It's grown to almost 1,000, and the conversations are growing. I think it's becoming a useful shared space where people can share different kinds of things. We have the website, which is very handy and lots of information there, and we're trying to keep it posted regularly with whatever we need. And I think even your posts or your 100-word bios we want to put up there. Social media is also there and active, and we're using and building it up. And essentially, we're sending these emails as a newsletter just to keep people abreast of things happening in AfroPHC. So our membership now is 664. It's grown since the launch. What I think is really remarkable that it is 40 countries, which I think very few African organizations can boast that many members from that many countries. And it's very diverse, I think, with a huge number of professionals, from economists to patient organization and the community of worker and all in between. And I think we've been busy setting up. The banking is already there, but the NPO that we're using to set up is just needs to change directors, and we're busy with that. I think we can function very minimally. with just the Zoom subscription. And so we don't need to stress too much about funds. I think funds always just make it that much easier. And we are looking at a fundraising plan, but I think that takes a bit of time. And I think the biggest charge tends to be French translations in our monthly workshop. So we've still got a substantial amount sitting in the bank and at PayPal. And I think it could carry us even for 1 or 2 years, even on that basis alone. So I think what we need to do is look at how we use, I think, what we have well and make good on it. So I think, just ideas going forward. I think we have tried to set up some of these, and I think we are looking at other ideas to try and build up. I think these were ideas within the AGM. And when we met as a board, I think these were just ideas that we also had. Let's get some portfolios, develop country level chapters, and strengthen the links with our use as supporting organizations, and others who are not on the board, develop these links and have a virtual conference and some other ideas. And I think the key question is to explore, I think, what the advisory board can do. I think advice is always useful, getting you to spread the word in networks and to look at whether there are possible partnerships. I think that we can have, individual between you and AfroPHC. I think to be part of the advocacy of primary care itself, primary health care, I think we'd really love you to be, willing to be doing that. And also support the conference as speakers. I think you can see the richness of skill and expertise around the table, and I think the diversity is really great. So these are just ideas that we have, and a quick share of the information. I don't know if you want to take comments briefly before we go to the document. So yeah, thank you all. And if you have any suggestions, you can share it now and or email or WhatsApp or put in the chat. Thanks, Bongi.